I hope you're having a great day and I hope you're staying safe at home. Yesterday we spoke about CFS, which is chronic fatigue syndrome. We've had about 100 plus people reach out over the last few hours saying that they could relate their fatigue to at least one or more points that we shared on yesterday's video. In yesterday's video, I told you all I would talk to you today about CoQ10, an enzyme that is required for energy production in the human body. We're going to understand what CoQ10 is today. CoQ10 is a coenzyme that is found in the cells, the mitochondria of your cells. Now, there are many diseases that are today scientifically and medically linked with low levels of CoQ10. Remember, we talk about the importance of vitamins, minerals, and today's science shows us how even one deficiency of a vitamin, one deficiency of a mineral, one deficiency of an enzyme can cause multiple problems. While the medical world rightly looks at symptoms, we need to go to the root cause of what is causing these symptoms if we're looking at a better life, better quality of life, reduction in suffering, and actually recovering from the chronic illness that we're stuck in. So today, some of the diseases linked to low levels of CoQ10 in your cells, all forms of heart disease, all forms of Parkinson's, all forms of dementia, all forms of Alzheimer's, every single cancer, and even diabetes. So you see, we have medicines for all of these conditions. We have different foods, but if we're not looking at correcting the enzyme levels in our cells, we're unable to have a complete recovery. We're unable to get better. We're excellent at suppressing the symptom. We're excellent at putting chemicals in our body to try to beat down the symptom. But it's about time we start looking at lifestyle, nutrition, diet, exercise, sleep, prayer, meditation, emotional wellness, everything over and above just the symptom if we want to get better. So what is CoQ10? Like I said, it's an enzyme found in the mitochondria of your cells. What is mitochondria? It is necessary that you understand this because with mitochondrial dysfunction, disease creeps into your body. Every disease that starts from a cell is born out of mitochondrial dysfunction. Let me put it in a very simple way. Mitochondria, think of little engines in your cell. Okay, you have a cell, you have trillions of cells. You're made up of trillions of cells. Each of these cells, each of these 1 of trillion cells contain mitochondria. Think of these mitochondria as little factories in your cells. So the raw material comes to these factories. Oxygen from the air that you breathe, nutrients from the food that you eat, water. It gets into these little factories. These factories convert the nutrients from the food that you eat, the oxygen from the air that you breathe, and the water into energy. So all of these raw materials get into the factory, and the factory takes all of these raw materials and creates an energy molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's as technical as I'm going to go right now. Now, whenever you produce something, there's also waste. So when we produce an energy molecule, there are waste products. So we have water, we have carbon dioxide, and we have something called free radicals. Now, free radicals in a small amount are good for us. They protect our tissues from inflammation, they protect us from viruses, bacteria, repairs of tissues. But when the free radicals get too much, we produce inflammation. What happens when the carbon dioxide gets too much? Okay, you can do this test later. Hold your breath for a really long time and see how you feel post that. So when we have too much of carbon dioxide stored into our blood, we tend to feel tired. We tend to feel lethargic, slow. So now picture this. If I'm sending the wrong raw material to the factory, sugar, carbs, junk food, processed food, your little factories have to work very hard and in overtime because it's trying to extract the right nutrients to make energy. But while it's doing that, going through all of the bad food and all the junk that you're putting in, guess what increases? The waste products. So now you have more carbon dioxide, you have more water, and you have more free radicals. Free radicals, inflammation. Every disease is inflammatory that we know of today. From cancer to diabetes to Alzheimer's to obesity to metabolic syndrome, all of these are inflammatory conditions because the mitochondria will produce what we give it. So if I eat a natural meal, my body breaks it down beautifully into energy, perfect system. But if I'm constantly feeding it junk, the mitochondria has to work so hard. In that process, CoQ10, which is an enzyme used to create energy, starts to get depleted. So now I have less CoQ10, which is required to produce energy. CoQ10 has an antioxidant function in the body. CoQ10 helps protect our cells against viral attacks and bacterial attacks. So you see, it plays a huge role in immunity. If I have less CoQ10, I am decreasing the fighting ability of my cells to protect itself against bacteria and viruses. Secondly, I'm reducing the antioxidant mechanism in my body, which means inflammation. What combats inflammation? Antioxidants. So if I have more free radicals, an antioxidant neutralizes the free radical and we're good. But what happens when the free radicals are more than the antioxidants? Inflammation spreads through the body like wildfire. That's how cancer spread. That's how tumors spread rapidly in seconds. That's how one diabetic cell becomes the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth. So all of these inflammatory conditions are caused by inflammation. They can be made better by reducing inflammation. So let's go back into CoQ10. What depletes CoQ10? Number one, age. As we tend to age, CoQ10 decreases, which is why energy levels tend to fall, which is why we need to look at foods which are rich in CoQ10 or lifestyle changes which are good in balancing CoQ10. Number two, if you have a genetic disorder, sometimes your DNA doesn't work the right way, so it can affect CoQ10 synthesis. You can have low levels of CoQ10 and your doctor or your integrative specialist will supplement you on CoQ10 to make you feel better. If we have increased demands, like athletes will use a lot of CoQ10. Your cells which are present in your heart, any muscular part of your body, your liver, your kidney that work very hard, they have more demand of CoQ10 because more energy. Any organ in the body or any muscle that requires more energy needs more CoQ10. So if my cells and my muscles need more CoQ10, but I'm not eating a diet that has foods that are rich in CoQ10, I deplete CoQ10, which is why even athletes today eat a CoQ10 rich diet. Some athletes even supplement with CoQ10 because the demand on their muscles is so much. So again, that's another reason why we can deplete CoQ10. Mitochondrial diseases, like I mentioned, if you have a dysfunctional mitochondria, which is everything I spoke about, there is dysfunction in mitochondria in autism patients and ADHD, you name it. If every disease that is born from a cell includes your mitochondria, so you cannot leave mitochondrial dysfunction out of the treatment of any condition. Even if you have a skin problem, it involves the mitochondria because everything is born out of a cell. So if you have less CoQ10, guess what? It also affects fertility. I have nothing against IVF and fertility clinics. What I have against the system is they don't even give couples a chance to try today. A couple doesn't conceive the first time, they say, oh no, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, take IVF. That's not right. You got to keep trying, and only if you really, really can't conceive, then you go in for IVF and then you go in for treatments. But today, at the drop of a hat, you're put into IVF. People don't even look to see your D3 levels, your B12 levels. They don't even look to see your stress levels because you can't conceive if you're stressed. If you have low levels of CoQ10, the man and the woman, please understand that the eggs that you produce are destroyed by oxidative stress because you don't have the right amount of CoQ10. So your eggs constantly get destroyed. First, you need to look at the amount of CoQ10 you have at a cellular level. For males as well, you have a low sperm count or the quality of your sperms aren't good if you don't have the right amount of CoQ10. So you see, it goes back to basics. Do IVF if you've tried everything. But if you think the IVF is the easy way out, let me tell you that a lot of women also suffer with the side effects of IVF. If you have to take it, have that child, go for it. But without trying to heal yourself naturally or without looking at these little mechanisms that could be the reason why you're unable to have a child, okay, it's better that you explore it first naturally. If not, then go for IVF. Then of course, the more free radicals and inflammation you have, the less CoQ10 you have. And of course, every patient out there in the world who is on a statin, if your doctor has not put you back on a CoQ10 enzyme or a supplement, you are doing damage at a cellular level. Because a statin works by depleting. It depletes CoQ10 from your cells, which is why a lot of patients on statins, they have constant muscle spasms, muscle pain, or they're lethargic, their energy levels are low because you don't have CoQ10 that your mitochondria needs to make energy. So if you are on a statin and you have to take a statin, which honestly is not a good thing, you should be changing your lifestyle and working with your doctors to get you off the statin because of the numerous side effects that statins have. If you are ever on a statin, you need to supplement with selenium and you need to supplement with CoQ10. So now, if you have heart problems, you need to be on CoQ10. If not a supplement, at least eating a diet rich in CoQ10. I am going to share those foods that are rich in CoQ10. If you have fertility problems, male and female, you need to make sure you have the right amount of fertility. If you're trying to improve your skin quality, Okay, if you're aging too quickly, you have too much of, elasticity in your skin, it's not firm, you want to look at CoQ10 again. If you have headaches and migraines, you must also look at mitochondrial dysfunction and CoQ10. Because if you have less CoQ10, if you have less antioxidant in your cells, the calcium uptake is more. When your calcium uptake increases, your antioxidants come down, sometimes causing very low energy and migraines and headaches. So you may even want to explore that. Then we have exercise performance. If you want to improve your performance in exercise, physical activity, sports, and even in bed, I'm talking about even sex, because you need energy. And a lot of people today, they have poor libidos and poor sexual lives because they don't have energy. Look at the cell. You don't have to just do tantric meditations and all of that stuff. You can do that. But also look at the energy for sex comes from cells. The energy for sports comes from cells. Do you have the right compound? Do you have the right enzyme, which is CoQ10? So even for exercise, you want to make sure you have that. And for diabetes, everyone who's a diabetic out there, I don't mean to scare you, but please understand that you have a metabolic syndrome. Your diabetes is not just your blood sugar levels. You have over oxidative stress in your cells. Today it's causing a problem with diabetes. Tomorrow it's going to cause a problem with your kidneys. You need to understand that it is not okay living with diabetes. Take your medication, but change your lifestyle and wean off your medication with your doctors in the loop. It is not okay living with diabetes. That is chronic illness. It is going to create more problems. Type 2 diabetes is 100% reversible when you make the right lifestyle changes, you stabilize your levels with your doctors and your medication, and over time you wean off. So again, why aren't your cells responding to insulin? Because there's too much of inflammation, oxidative damage, less CoQ10. So part of your diabetic treatment needs CoQ10 to be at the right levels. So you see, these are all the things. And finally, brain health. Your cells in your brain start to die when you move into total or partial mitochondrial dysfunction. And you need CoQ10 in the treatment of Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and anything to do with the brain, including brain tumors and every cancer. Which brings me to the last point, cancer. Cancer is a mitochondrial dysfunction disease, period. Yes, pollution can cause it, stress can cause it, genes can cause it, whatever it is. But there is a dysfunction in your mitochondria. And if you are not treating the mitochondria while you are going through your treatments, you are not going to get better. You need to supplement a conventional medical treatment with lifestyle changes, nutrition, exercise, sleep, emotional wellness, whatever it takes to protect you. Let me give you a simple example of a cancer patient going through chemotherapy. Chemotherapy wipes out all of your class A proteins and your vitamins, especially your B spectrum vitamins. So you're deficient in B6. Without B6, CoQ10 can't function in your body, which is why you're low on energy, which is why you're so tired after chemotherapy, and several other reasons. But if you're supplementing with B vitamins through your foods, putting it back into your system, making sure that you're eating CoQ10 rich foods, you are able to come out of the treatment much, much better. So you have to understand, if you are only dependent on allopathic treatment, yes, it will treat the symptom, but you're going to have new problems. But if you pair your allopathic treatment with lifestyle and everything else to protect and manage the side effects, that's what we call recovery. That's what we call healing. Now let's go straight into the list of foods that can help you with CoQ10. Most of them are non-vegetarian foods, but vegetarians and vegans, don't worry, there are also some foods that you can eat. So organ meat. All of the organ meat is rich in CoQ10, okay? Beef is rich in it, seafood, chicken, high animal protein sources are rich in CoQ10. Fish, all of the fish family, rich in CoQ10. Vegetables, we have spinach, your green leafy vegetables, and all of the cruciferous vegetables. So you have a lot to eat. Your cauliflower, your broccoli, your kale, your cabbage, your mustard greens, your radish, your Brussels sprouts, all of the cruciferous vegetables and the green leafy vegetables are also rich in CoQ10. When it comes to fruits, most fruits contain CoQ10, but the highest content fruits are oranges and strawberries. Blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, depending on where you live in the world. If you're in India, you have strawberries, you have oranges, and your citrus fruits are rich in CoQ10. Also your legumes. So if you can get non-GMO, non-genetically modified soybeans, that's a great source of CoQ10. Remember, man or woman, try not to cross 30 to 40 grams of soybeans in a week. Very important that you don't cross that. All of your lentils, your dals, your legumes, peanuts, great source of CoQ10. When it comes to nuts and seeds, sesame seeds, black sesame seeds, white sesame seeds. So if you're making a hummus, which has tahini, a lot of sesame seed oil extract, that is a rich source of CoQ10. Pistachios, rich source of CoQ10. And when it comes to your oils, your pure ghee and coconut oil, cold pressed coconut oil, cold pressed olive oil, good quality. So you see, if you're eating a balanced diet, you'll get it. Now let's say you're going through a disease that has mitochondrial dysfunction, then you got to speak to your doctor or speak to your integrative specialist. They may supplement you on dosages of 100 mg, maybe even 200 mg. All of these help create the right energy. Remember, to heal, you need energy. What heals you? Your immune system. What power is your immune system driven by? Energy. Where does that energy come from? The food that you eat, the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, the energy that you create through a good emotional presence, and a mitochondria that can take the raw materials and make it into energy. This is the importance of CoQ10, and this is the basis of every single treatment that you go through for any condition that you have, or even if you're looking at preventing the onset of disease. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep. And remember, you care is all about you.